Hey, it's Rick Khan from rickkhan.com, and in this video you're going to discover how to optimize Facebook ad campaigns with a low budget strategy. Now specifically, I'm going to break down all the key metrics and list all the things you're going to need to arm yourself to create the best strategies that's right for your campaign on a small budget. And then we're going to explore all the different strategies, such as taking people straight to a sales page, getting leads, how to target ad sets, and knowing about using ABO versus CBO with a small budget. Now, this can be especially helpful if you're trying to test your products or service, or you're just simply running your ads on a low budget. Now, what's actually good here is that using a low budget to begin with, it's actually one of the best places to start, because you don't want to burn out your ad spend throwing in hundreds or thousands of dollars quickly in a single week or a month. And using small budgets allows room for testing and figuring out your funnel. Now, I say funnel and not just product or service, because at the end of the day, the truth is, it's the funnel structure and the copy that articulates the perception of what your product or service will do for your prospects. And it's what's most important when running ads. Focusing on the product or service isn't what your goal should be, because ultimately, can you compel people to take an action with your message is what's your true goal. But saying that, a small budget, in my opinion, is anything less than $500 per month, or even, let's say, spending $5 a day. Now, most people will say you need to use at least $50 a day or more to get good results, and you shouldn't be using anything less. And even though this is true for many cases, but in all honesty, using less than $5 a day is enough to get started and can help move the needle forward in your advertising. So if you're using $20 or even $5, this is enough for you to run your ads. Now, before jumping into the strategy, another important question is, how many ad sets and what targeting should you use? And again, this really depends on the budget. You see, if it's a $5 a day, I would just use one ad set. So if you're opening your target to broad, just leave it at that one ad set and let it run until you need to do any other types of optimization. And if you have multiple interests, then here I would just do two things. Now, if you're willing to take your time, then expect slow results, as you can test each interest separately until you change the ad set interest when you've discovered the previous interest didn't work. Again, this will take a pretty long time, but it will allow you to know which interest works. Or another method to do it quickly is just bundle in all the multiple interests in that one ad set and run it that way. Or let's say your budget is above this and it's at least between $10 to $20. You can use 2 to 4 ad sets, testing open targeting and having a couple of interests in each of the ad sets. Now, a key thing to mention here, even though this does take longer, there is the big benefit, because you're going to let Facebook take its time and optimize your ads and let the AI figure out who your customer is. And this allows your ads to optimize for the best results, which leads to ad set budget optimization versus campaign budget optimization. Which should you use? Well, here's the thing. If you're using a small budget and testing your ads, I personally recommend you stay away from CBO, because CBO is better for when you know you have a winning ad, or if you have a big budget to let Facebook do all the work and control your ad budget across your campaign. But with low budgets and testing, you want to have the full control of your costs, so start with ABO. CBO is more when you find your winning ads and you have higher, bigger budgets, and then you can let Facebook do the work. So the next question should be at this point is, what objective should you use? Now, the objective, again, it all depends on how your funnel is set up. Usually with a low budget, I only run 2 types of objectives, which is leads or sale conversions. So if you have a funnel set up to collect leads, and then you have your offer after someone gets the lead on the back end and a follow-up sequence, then a lead strategy will be ideal here, because leads are cheaper than purchases and it allows room to get more feedback and data from Facebook to know what works best. But if you don't have a back end and a follow-up sequence, even though I would highly suggest you do this and get this set up immediately, but you can always send people directly to a sales page, which leads to testing your message to convert that sales page. Here you can set your ads to cold traffic and send people directly to your sales page. And the benefit of this is that if you can convert someone to pull out a credit card and make a purchase, you'll know you have a winning product or service. And another benefit of this is that you're telling Facebook who a customer is for you, which it then optimizes for your best audience. But at the same time, here's a big tip. You must let the ad run to see if the sales stay consistent, because Facebook will likely find the best people that are highly likely to convert, and then as that runs out, your conversions will slow down or cost more, or even completely stop in some cases where you just don't see any sales. So before scaling this, make sure to let it run and know if it's consistent, which leads me to the most important aspect of running your ads: know your numbers. You see, when running conversions straight to a sales page or to an opt-in for leads, you have to make sure you know your numbers. Knowing your numbers will help you make the right decisions to keep an ad running or to stop it, and also when to test different creatives and headlines. So when running a conversion campaign to a sales page, the ultimate number you need is your average order value or your cost per acquisition. Because let's say if you have a product at $37, then you're going to have to let yourself spend up to that $37 to find out if what you have works. If you just stop your ad at $27, you won't know if you were about to get a sale at the break-even point, because your goal as an advertiser is not to make profit on the front end, it's just to break even on your ad spend and make your profit from your follow-up sequence or your order bumps or even your one-click upsell. So let the ad run until it gets to your average order value or cost per acquisition. In some cases, you could leave a small room to go above your break-even spend if you know your follow-up sequence is strong. But a tip here is find the lowest product or service that helps to break even as soon as possible. I have multiple products that sell for just $7 at the front end, and then I make the profit at the one-click upsell or through the order bumps, and obviously through the sequence on the emails making more offers. And it's the same with leads. In my opinion, don't focus on trying to get low cost per leads. Look at the end goal, which should be for you is a purchase. Does that purchase break even? For me, I've had 20 pence leads, or if you're in the US, it'll be cents, and my cost per acquisition was down by around a few dollars versus leads that cost $1 and more, but it was breaking even at the front end. So keep it all simple and focus on the end goal. You don't need to be a math wizard here, just keep it simple with knowing those numbers. The next is something I get asked a lot about. It's the learning phase. You see, if you're on a low budget, the learning phase may be very difficult to get out of, especially true if your objective is for purchasers. But here's the thing, for me, I have many ads that are in the learning phase, and to be honest, it hasn't affected them at all. In fact, when I retarget video views, I rarely come out of the learning phase, as I just constantly keep changing the creatives, and I've never really had any issues. I know there's a lot of people, they talk about you have to get out of the learning phase or you won't get the best results with your ads and it'll fluctuate all over the place. This can be true in some cases, but for me, it's been fine. And I invite you to give it a try and just ignore the learning phase and continue with what you're doing, because it can become very expensive with the amount of conversions that's required to get out of that phase. And then finally, scale the winning ads. Now, if you're at this stage, then congratulations, because this is actually the easiest part of running your ads. And the hard work is everything you've done to get this far. Now, the truth is all you're doing here is just simply turning off all the bad ads and duplicating your winners. And when you duplicate your winner, you have two different options to do, which is one, change the ad budget, or two, change the interest targeting. Just leave your original ad if it's working. Don't mess things up by increasing budgets or changing anything, just leave it alone. Instead, with low risk, just duplicate it. You can increase the budget, and if the increase works well, we can keep doing this. For example, let's say you have $5 a day, you duplicate that And when you duplicate it, increase it to $10. If that works, do it again, duplicate it, use it at $20, and so on. Or another thing you should do when you duplicate ads is change the interest targeting. And the final thing about duplicating, I usually do it at the campaign level. You can do it on the ad set level, but I like to start things fresh by duplicating at the campaign level, deleting the ones that don't work, and just keep the ones running and then set it from there. And that's pretty much everything you need to know to create the perfect strategy. If you think I've missed anything, just let me know in the comments below and I'll see how I can help. And as always, if you like the video, it really helps to get it out by liking and subscribing for more. So until then, I'll see you in the next video.